Hello everyone, greetings. This time I made a video about online classes. We all are going through a situation where many of the teachers all over the world are taking online classes, and this online class has become a major issue, the way we are conducting class. Now, actually today's video is how we can keep our class engaged and active. So let us go through this. Thing is, let us look at the first thing that we have. This is the first question that comes to our mind: can we make our classroom work online? Well, for this, just what we are doing, I think we give a reading assignment and then ask them to go through that part, giving some question answers, lecture based classes. This is the regular thing we are doing, and we know this is not an ideal option. Second thing we are doing, making PowerPoint presentation. We can actually make it more better when we are posting it into online. That means if you are making the PowerPoint and it's in your drive and you just send the link to the students, in that case it is better, but still it is just a simple solution. Third one, share your YouTube videos. But the thing is, if you share a YouTube video, even a student can go and research and find out a lot of video in YouTube or via me, and there are other lots of websites where for the same topic what you are teaching there might be thousands of videos. So in this case, I would suggest that make your own video. In that case, you know what you are teaching and it's you, so student will hear your voice and see you in the video phase. So that is more engaging. But this thing I'm just saying now, this is just the normal idea, basic idea of online class. And then we are using an online platform. Many of us are using Google Meet or Zoom, Slack, there is Microsoft Teams. So this is one platform that we are using, and this is how we have to do it. There is no other options. Many of the teachers I heard are using even Skype also. Well, it depends on the place and the situation and what are the options you have. And then the next one is assign an out of class project. So it could be like the assignment you are giving for the classroom. Beside that, you also can assign some other work outside the classroom. That means you can ask them to make a home video or ask them to make something, so props using. So this is one way. And finally, we are trying to give some homework, and this homework has to be some fun in them, otherwise students will not be interested to do them. So this thing I just mentioned, all these points here, these are a general idea of online class. But is this going to happen? Is this going to work? This is the final question. Now we all want our students to be engaged whatever we are teaching. So I have come up with some points, and most of these points are actually not only mine. I have taken them from internet as well. So for that, so first 10 ideas how to keep your class engaged and active. This is in the first 10 ideas. I'm coming more of them. Let us talk a little bit about these points. Number one, incorporate mystery into your lesson. That means if you are taking a class and at the end of the class, if you give them a slight hints that what is coming in the next class, and ask and make them inquisitive, thinking or making them guess what is coming next, that will keep them a little bit enthusiastic about the next class that is coming, and they might also be interested to know what you're going to teach next. So this thing is very important in a way, like keep them guessing. That means that you can rouse the curiosity in them that will make them more interested in your class. Second thing, don't repeat classroom materials. If you are teaching a topic and you have made a material and you are giving the same material over and over again and repeat it as class after class, student will feel bored and they will not be interested to go through the same material over again. So you have to come up with variation and you have to have a lot of materials ready for your classroom. So that means you have to prepare your class, you have to plan your class earlier. That's how you can do it. Create classroom games. This is another way to keep your classroom engaged. There are many options. If you even research in the web, you will find a lot of classroom activities. There are quiz and online activities, interactive options are there. You can use all those tools, and there are free tools as well. So all you have to do is sign up and use them, and just use them in your classroom. So gamification, this is one of the major ideas to keep your classroom engaged. Well, give your student choice. This is actually when you're assigning homework to students. You can actually create 6 or 7 or 9, or like a tic-tac, 9 options of homework, and the student can choose among these tic-tac 3 of them in a row, which they will have to do. So in this case, among the 9 homework, they can only choose 3 that will give them an options, and I think that will make the student more engaging. Technology, yes, we are using technology. We are using internet, laptop, tab, phone, many other things. So actually we are using technology to have the idea of flipped classroom. So we have to use technology wisely, and we have to think which technology is going to suit our students. Don't take teaching so seriously. Actually it means, like, when you are teaching the students and they're looking at you, if you are very serious, not smiling, and very serious mood, the student will feel bored. Show some expression, smile, make jokes, be engaged with them. Just talk to them some other interesting matter that the students are interested in. This is how you make your image differently and set a role in front of the students. So as I mentioned, flipped classroom, you have to make your class lessons interactive. That means only you are lecturing and student listening, or you have an assigned homework and student will do. Don't just go for that. You have to make a classroom lesson in a way so that both way you and students are interacting, and then also some other way like videos, online options as mentioned earlier. You can use all those things to make your lesson interactive. Relate materials to your students' lives. It's the common thing even I have experienced. Students ask, why you are learning this, how is it going to help me? So instead of answering because of this, you actually give them a situation and show this thing what you are teaching is actually related to their life. So in that way they will actually feel more interested, because if they come up with this idea that this lesson what they are learning is not going to help in their future life, they will actually lose interest. Again, I have mentioned 2 times before, flip your classroom, flip your lesson. The same lesson you can have a PowerPoint posted in internet, you can have video made on that, and then also if a student miss your class, they can actually go back to your video channel and watch the video, or even before starting a new lesson, you can actually post the video which they can watch and come up in the next class and ask. Then the lesson you're going to teach will be more interactive, and then student will have more question, and that way you can make your classroom more engaged. Think outside the box. Actually you can ask them to do some research, ask them to go into their rooftop, look at the plant they have, or something that make them more active. Like you can ask them all of a sudden, like hey, I'll get up and make 10 jumps. Just keep them engaged. And if you can also for example, you can also, for English, you can use this video online conferencing classes for taking spell bee. There can be math bee as well, like mental math. It's up to you the way you are going to use them. These are first 10 ideas. Then is the more 10 idea 8 ideas. These are actually kind of close to those 10 ideas, but it's a little bit different way I put them here. The lesson you are going to make, you have to break it down, the lesson, and make it digestible. It means like the 40-minute class you are having online, you do not have the time for students to be silent, and sometimes you ask a question and students silent for a long time, and you don't know whether the student is actually paying attention to you or not, because there are students who are not even saying a single word, they are silent, and they think the student is not noticing them, they are like invisible in the class. So you have to make this 40-minute class split into an idea like 10-20 minutes, 10 minutes reading or 20 minutes writing, do something or quiz. This way you break the classroom into 2-3 parts, and also focus on only one topic. For example, say if you are teaching noun, so talk about noun, do not go for the classification or some other stuff later. So one by one, so when the noun is done, then go for the classification, or for noun after go for noun. Or if you are teaching photosynthesis in biology, then you talk about the photosynthesis first, then you go for the glucose and other stuff that photosynthesis product. So what I'm trying to say is focus only one topic one by one and go move forward. Do not start all multiple topics at the same time. Adapting class activities to the virtual classroom. Well, you see, in the physical environment you can smile, your body language, gesture, everything is different, and in virtual classroom you are the one in front of camera and they are looking at you. So you have to come up with activities that actually this environment is different than physical environment. So you have to come up with the ideas and come up with your own plan to adapt to this situation, and how the student can actually see you, look into you. If the students are keeping their video turned off, ask them to turn it on, because when they are seeing their expression you can see and they are more focused. But if your camera is off and their camera is off, it's like you don't know what is going on. Make your student feel valued, as I mentioned in the first one. If there are 40 students, 20 students, 15 students, know their name and make sure they know your name. So you can call with their name and then ask them question, make them response, and know their interest, and that's how the student will feel they are valued. Otherwise, in a classroom of 20 students, if 2 students are left at the corner, they are not answering and they're silent, and every class is going on the same way, they will feel like it doesn't matter whether they participate in the class or not. Set goals and help students stick to them. That means learning objective, learning outcome, you have to think about those things, and then you have to plan ahead to know like what you are planning and why you are teaching this. You have to know this, and then you have to set these small goals for the students, and then you take an assessment and move forward. Use technology to your advantage, as we are using technologies. This is the only option now we have, distance learning. So you should know that which device or which platform or which thing is going to use. For example, if you assign a grade 2 student making a PowerPoint presentation, or asking the student to use a Google Doc, he might not have any idea. So you have to think which technology to use for them, which software to use for them, which technology will be actually suitable for that kid and for you. Present your best self. I'm coming in details this point later. This is one of the very important point. I'm coming after this slide. Bring fun into the classroom, make jokes, know their interest, use game, puzzles, make the class fun. And of course, finally, be patient with your students. If you don't know, if they're answering question, they're asking a question and you're answering, and if the same question asked several times, and you have to actually answer all the time with patience. Well, I think we all teachers have this great virtue. I have nothing to say more details. So this is the point I was saying, that present your best self. This one is very important. So visuals, that means you should keep your camera on, and when you are in front of the camera, the dress, the way you are looking, the background in you, where you're sitting, it is very important impact on the students' learning. If you want to use a board, that is your choice, but the background and the way you dress up, your appearance, that actually affects the learners. Audio, very important. If you speak in a monotonous tone all the time and you do not have variation, and it's like, this monotonous tone is not going to help the learners to learn. You have to have variation. You should know where to stress, where to stop, where to pause. So you have to bring and also the sound, the microphone you're using, that is also very important. TPR, actually total physical response. You have to move your hands, physical gesture, facial expression, all these things is very important here. And if you can use props, for example, any car or toys to show the students. So it depends on the lesson you're teaching. If you can use props, that is the best way. Of course, show enthusiasm. Whatever you are teaching, if you do not show interest, how the student will show interest? So you have to show enthusiasm. And then finally, reward system. It depends on what kind of reward you're thinking. You can give them credit, you can check their homework and give them regular feedback. You can assign them mark also if they give response to your question. Say thank you, your appreciation, all these things. This is very important. Finally, the materials I mentioned earlier, preparing course material, this is important. You have to know what material you are using, and the internet has given people a lot of there's a ocean of information. So you should research on your own first, and also come up with some websites that might help your students, and you can use the links for the students so they can go directly over there. It depends on your subject, what subject you're teaching. So if you tell them this is a website, you can go and find this topic, that way it will be helpful, and that will save a lot of time of the students. So and also the materials, as I said earlier, do not repeat the same material, so you can come up with this variation. Sometimes you can give your own worksheet. You can sometimes use a link for the students to see, or some interactive games in online. So all these things are very important. So okay, thank you everyone for watching my video, and see you next. Bye.